for a few.
Yeah, thanks, Toby. Morning, everyone. Oh, yeah, just really exciting. Just opening your remarks, how exciting it is to actually get the World Cup draw underway, understand how it works, and who we're with, all the permutations ahead, and then looking forward to actually the games and who we're playing and what's next for us. So we know we're going to have to play some big games to win the Rugby World Cup. It's pretty clear after the draw. So any questions are welcome. Thank you.
Morning, Razor. Morning, Scott. Hey, first of all, Razor, just how was it last night? I imagine the group chats were in full swing. Where were you watching?
I was just at home with the family, and so the deeper it went, the balls, the least balls that are in there, you sort of felt that it was the inevitable of getting into Pool A and playing Aussie and playing them again. We get to play them quite a lot, but it's pretty special and unique to do it at a Rugby World Cup, especially if it's their one. So when it got to that, it was like, okay. And then it was likely to be announced what's it likely to be afterwards. What's the permutations that who do we lead after our ball? Who do we play?
Just looking at that Aussie game, I guess we're still waiting for the draw to come out, but how special would it be to open the World Cup against Aussie in Perth?
Yeah, obviously there's no guarantee to it, but if it's an Optus and you're playing full house, it will be pretty special. It'll be a pretty special moment, and one that is a play you look forward to. So so close to home, there'll be a lot of Kiwis there. How good.
And how quickly did it take you to work out, I guess, that, if we get through the round of 16, looking at South Africa potentially in the quarters as well, did you notice that one pretty quickly? And what do you make of that potential matchup?
Yeah, you knew if Pool A and B got together, and there was one of the scenarios that you look at, and who's going to get a line up if it was first in that pool or second in the pool if it's England. And so you do a little bit of homework, and you look at it and you go, okay, we used to play South Africa a lot, and it's just another time you have to have a crack at it. And as you know, you're coming into a World Cup, you're going to have to face someone in their form in it to win it. So if the quarterfinal, if that's the way it works out, that's just part of the draw. You got to embrace it.
And just last thing from me, Scott, just I guess now that the pools have been released, just your reaction to it, and does it all start to sort of sink in now that it's only a couple of years away?
Yeah, I guess it's good to. Firstly, I think the competition format's an exciting thing and something different. With I guess around the 16, then head into quarterfinals. So you're gonna have to win, I think, 4 big games in a row. So I think that's certainly going to put some pressure on the depth of our squads. And yeah, obviously the pool, having Australia in our pool, it's going to make for some fireworks in the round robin stage. So yeah, excited about the outcome of the draw.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Can I jump in, Scott? First to raise it, when you look at the pool, and we've got Chile and Hong Kong in that pool.
Yeah.
The thing with World Rugby is that we don't get huge upsets in international matches a lot. I mean, these two teams are probably at the very best NPC sides. You play Australia, and then we've got those 2 games. Is that kind of a worry that there's not really strong opponents leading into that knockout?
I think that's part of the format, the way they've done it. So you don't get pulled to death, do you? You want to load up 2 or 3 teams as one of the bigger players miss out because of the balance of the squad. So when you do it this way, you're going to probably have it the other way, Marty, which is you're going to have a couple of guys that have just come into the World Cup. They've extended it to 24, so 4 teams are going to be battling with the games right at the end and going to have to be slotted in. And look, we have to do some homework, especially on Hong Kong, China. It's something we haven't. I don't think it was streamed on Sky, was it? From memory, but it definitely creates a worldwide feel to it.
Yeah, when you look at this draw and the inevitability of a quarter-final, unless something outrageously upset happens, but with South Africa, last time World Rugby promised the way after they did the draw and you had the top 4 teams playing in quarter-finals, it wouldn't happen again. I guess the initial reaction from my side, and I think a lot of fans, is probably going to be, you've got the top 2 seeds in the world at 1 and 2. If you're doing the Wimbledon draw, you don't put Nadal and Djokovic on the same side. You separate these teams. How does it work out that the 1 and 2 seeds end up playing in a quarterfinal?
It's a good question. Yeah, and look, I can't answer it from a formatting point of view, but that's what you sort of felt. You just split the 2 sides of the pool and you sort of moved through the middle as you came through. But like I said, the inevitability of it, Marty, was that further we got down, and then Brett was only had 3 balls left. You was going, okay, you had to be next, otherwise you're playing South Africa, because you knew you're going to be in BNA in the next the group. So yeah, look, you're going to have to go to someone to talk about that at World Rugby. Yeah.
As silly as it sounds as well, whoever loses that opening match between Australia and New Zealand, and let's hope that is the opening match, because what a ding-dong way that is to open the tournament, potentially, again, it's all just speculation, but potentially has an easy draw if you manage to actually walk out of that game and you don't win it. That's a kind of weird as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the anomalies of the way this format's come along, isn't it? And just with the size of the draw, as you mentioned, the way it shapes, sometimes these can form, but that way. But yeah, you just want to play your best every test. That's the mindset you've got to have. But there's definitely strategy in that, Marty.
Thing also to this is in 22 months time, and I know that we'll talk a lot about it today and tomorrow and over the next couple of weeks, but at what stage do you then park it and go, look, I've got a massive schedule next year, a lot can happen between now and then, and we can talk about the Rugby World Cup as much as we like, but in actual fact we've got a tour of South Africa next year. I mean, how much is this impending stuff more on your mind?
Yeah, look, you look from afar, you deal with it at the moment, and you look at the draw and the format, and then you go and play South Africa 6 times before the Rugby World Cup. So there's a lot to do before that. There's a lot of rugby. There's a lot of chance for us to go and get better in areas and as a team and hone in like everyone is. Like, and I said before, like, World Rugby is the closest it's ever been. The last Rugby World Cup, the amount of times that there was single score play, 7 points or under, or down to 3 points and under, and South Africa won the World Cup, their last 3 games by a point. The margins are minimum, and when you get to that point to the Rugby World Cup, you have to have everything in line, all your what-offs, your permutations, your self-control, everything that because there's going to be a card that can play massive role in each game, that you're a clean team that know exactly what you're doing. So everyone will be honing in on that.
One final question from me, and is just in terms of the review that's happening at the end of this year. We've been told that it actually takes place on January the 15th. Is that right? It doesn't take place before Christmas?
In regards to the information,
the review.
Look, people gather it. They would gather it, but in the new year, that's when the information is disseminated out. Yes, correct.
Okay, that's when you're all meeting about it?
Yeah, yes and no. That's when the information will be delivered. And then we have a camp and All Blacks camp, what we normally do. And then the rest of it, that's when the team and obviously the board and all that information will be had by the end of January.
Appreciate that very much. Sorry, I didn't have a question for you, other Scott. I'll leave it to somebody else. Thank you so much, mate.
Razor, is the review, can we say the review process of the season is underway now? In a way?
It always is. It always is. We have someone that travels with us the whole time that's reviewing, and you do. You look at there's there's online stuff, and then there's also the group stuff that they do while you're on tour. You sit down one-on-ones, you talk to all the leaders and you give their feedback. So it's a personal touch to it as well. So that's all been gathered, which will be with also the online stuff with on-field, off-field. and everything that needs to be that comes with it, and it all gets gathered. Yeah.
Will all the players be allowed to be involved, and
Yeah.
will it be
like
full
everything.
and frank, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, look, we do it 3-4 times a year, Sav. So it's quite it's thorough. It's pretty much an interrogation, you know, right from the top to the bottom, and the comments, and it's something we use, and it's a great tool for us to get feedback as coaches and the whole group from the players and all their management.
Just quickly back to the Cup. How concerning is it that you'll play Oz, but then 2 real minnows, and then probably another middle minnow in the round of 16 before facing what's likely to be South Africa? How much of a concern is that?
Yeah, well, it was always going to be that way when the format came out, and then obviously it was what draw you're going to be. But you've just got to balance the squad. You've got to have a good balanced squad, keep everyone really physically and fit along the way, and get your combinations right for, as you said, the 16th round or the quarterfinal. So it's going to be a balance. I didn't stay up all night and have a look at that just yet, but like I said, not having ever played Chile or Hong Kong, China, it's something we'll look at and make sure we get all our balance for the squad, so we get the best out of them for when we need them. Yeah.
Less than 2 years out, then where do you think you're at? How happy with where you're at?
Yeah, look, some really good competition across the squads. There's a lot of depth in our squad. This year we had the most injuries we've ever had as an all-back squad, and so it did create opportunities for other players, but also we left a lot of guys at home. So the opportunity for guys to tour builds our depth, builds competition. There's a good side to that, but also is when you've got a good crop coming through, but when they're physically fit, to build that depth. So for the entirety of the squad this year, look, we feel like we want, our 4 deep in the positions we're starting to get there, and we've got another Super Rugby competition for someone to come in and play really well, and put pressure on the current side and play well and pick themselves for the All Blacks in the next year.
Hey, Mark Hinton here. One for Scott Barrett. Keep you occupied. Skipper, last World Cup you played, you had a tough first game, obviously played the host, and then met a very strong Ireland team in the quarterfinal. This time you're going to play the host and Paul, and potentially, if results go your way, meet obviously the world's #1 side, South Africa, in the quarterfinal. Just speak to that, I guess, that prospect, I guess the experience, having been through that experience. Are you ready for it? Do you embrace it as captain of this team?
Yeah, I think at some stage within the tournament, you're going to play the world's best. And I think we played France last time as the opening game, and that was a huge occasion for both teams. And I think at that point we lost to them, and we said, okay, this isn't our competition, but we've got every chance to still lift the World Cup. And we played Ireland in the quarterfinal, another huge game. So I think the key thing really is along the way, you're going to play potentially, 1, 2, 3 in the world, and it might not be in the final. So that's the beauty of the World Cup. You're going to have to peak at the right time, and I think that's right at the pool stages. You got to be right at the top of your game, and just know that you have momentum leading into the competition, and ultimately you got to win 4 big games in a row with the round of 16, quarterfinals, semis, and finals. So I think that's probably the biggest change between 2023 is 4 games in a row, hence the what Ray's has been talking around, the depth of squad, and being able to call on guys with injuries and put a performance for a month.
Cool. And just lastly for me, I guess, having a period where you, I guess, don't play some of the world's best teams, you play teams that you can probably on your day handle comfortably. That's nothing new at a World Cup, right? What's, dealing with that? Is that just part of a World Cup? So maybe playing some games that don't necessarily test you on the scoreboard. Is that part of being at a Rugby World Cup?
Yeah, I'm sure that is part of being in a World Cup, and the group will have to find other ways to stay at the top of their game. That'll be through the performance week, and ultimately not looking too far ahead. It's sort of taking it a week at a time. Like within even those smaller games, there's going to be areas where you can hone in your craft, and you want to be right at the top of your game come that round of 16. So those games aren't missed opportunities. I'd see them as opportunities to refine your game, and even within the training week, it's having the tools that you can deal with big moments in those last 4 weeks.
Thanks, Scoot.
Guys, we might just, if anyone's got any last couple of questions for either of the Scots, please jump in now and we'll.
Scott Barrett, another big year for you as captain of this team. Have you had a chance to get away? I know you're out of Super Rugby. How much needed is this long break for you?
Yeah, I think off the back of the last World Cup, I took some time to basically say how could I be at the next World Cup and be still contributing in a big way to this team. So that was part of the strategy, is to break it into two sort of segments. And off the back of the first 2 years, it has been a big couple of years in the role as captain, and physically and mentally, this break's at a good time. And ultimately I want to be out the other side of this come May for 18 months of rugby that can ultimately contribute to a team lifting the World Cup.
Do you play the tail end of Super or no Super?
I'm working through that at the moment. I'm planning on playing the tail end of Super. I would like a bit of rugby before the July series. So I haven't finalised my plan as yet. I'm working through that at the moment. So
Guys, hey, we might just call things there. Thanks very much for joining us.